Everyone knows Lucifer, the most beautiful angel, the one who wanted God's throne, the one who fell like lightning from heaven. But what if I told you Lucifer was not the first? What if before Lucifer ever rebelled, before he ever opened his mouth against God, there was another angel, older, darker, more dangerous, an angel whose rebellion didn't happen in heaven, but on earth, and whose punishment was so severe. God buried him alive under the desert and locked him there until the end of time. His name was Semjaza, and almost nobody talks about him. To understand Semjaza, you have to understand what he was before he fell. He was not a low-ranking angel. He was not a minor spirit. The Book of Enoch identifies Semjaza as the chief of the Watchers, a high-ranking order of angels assigned by God himself to watch over and guard humanity. These were elite angels, powerful, trusted, chosen. Angels who stood close enough to God to be given one of the most important assignments in creation, protecting the human race. But somewhere in that assignment, something shifted inside Semjaza. He looked down at the earth, he saw the daughters of men, and he wanted what he was never created to want. But here is what makes Semjaza different from Lucifer. Lucifer rebelled alone. Lucifer's pride was personal. Lucifer wanted the throne for himself. Semjaza was not satisfied with falling alone. He wanted to take everyone with him, and that is what made him truly dangerous. The Book of Enoch. Chapter 6 records the exact moment Semjaza made his move. He gathered 200 watcher angels on the peak of Mount Hermon, one of the highest points in the ancient world, and he said to them, "I fear that perhaps you will not agree to do this deed, and I alone will pay the penalty of this great sin." Think about that. Semjaza knew what he was planning was wrong. He knew it was a sin. He knew there would be consequences, and he still did it, but he refused to fall alone. So the 200 watchers swore an oath, together, on that mountain, under the stars God created. They bound themselves to each other in rebellion against the God who made them. And then they came down. They took human wives. They fathered the Nephilim giants. They taught mankind forbidden knowledge. Weapons, sorcery, astrology, enchantments, and dark arts. In one generation, the earth went from created in perfection to corrupted beyond recognition. And Semjaza stood at the center of all of it, the architect of the greatest rebellion the earth had ever seen. Now here is where it gets really interesting. Most people think Lucifer's rebellion was the greatest act of defiance against God in all of history. But look at the comparison. Lucifer rebelled in heaven. Semjaza rebelled on earth, in the very place God told him to protect. Lucifer wanted a throne. Semjaza wanted to corrupt the entire human bloodline. Lucifer fell alone with his angels. Semjaza convinced 200 elite trusted angels to fall with him. Lucifer's punishment was exile. Semjaza's punishment was chains, buried in darkness under the earth until the final judgment. The Bible in 2 Peter 2 verse 4 says, "God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment." Jude verse 6 confirms, "Angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling, kept in darkness bound with everlasting chains." Lucifer still walks the earth, still has access, still moves freely. But Semjaza is chained, in darkness, right now, beneath this earth, waiting for a judgment he knows is coming. Here is the part of Semjaza's story that nobody ever talks about. After everything happened, after the Nephilim were destroyed, after the flood came, after his fellow watchers were chained, the Book of Enoch records that Semjaza had a dream. In the dream, he saw a tablet coming down from heaven, and written on that tablet were the names of every watcher who had sworn the oath with him. And as he watched, the names were erased, one by one, until nothing remained. He woke up and wept, because he understood what the dream meant. Their names had been removed from the book of heaven. They were not just punished, they were erased. The angel who was trusted to protect humanity had become the reason humanity almost didn't survive. And now he sits in chains, in darkness, with nothing but the memory of what he once was, an elite angel of God, and what he chose to become. Semjaza had everything: position, power, purpose. He stood among the elite of heaven, trusted by God, assigned to protect mankind, and he threw it all away. Not because he was weak, not because he was deceived, but because he chose desire over destiny. He knew it was wrong. He said so himself before he did it, and he did it anyway. That is not just an ancient story, that is a mirror. How many times have we known something was wrong, said so to ourselves, and done it anyway? Semjaza's chains are physical, but some people are walking around in chains just like his, bound by choices they made with their eyes wide open. The good news is, you are not chained yet. You can still choose differently. Think about that.